One of the things that brands and social content creators often get wrong about social media is that they think it's a one-way conversation, when in reality, social media needs to be social. When you're creating content, it needs to be actionable. What's the call to action? Where's the value in it? Because more often than not, brands will tell a creator, go make this thing, but they don't understand what the end result of it is supposed to be. So you end up creating pieces of content that speak to yourself or to your team internally, but they're not really moving the needle when it comes to reaching your target customer or end user. The right way to approach it is by listening to your audience, doing your research, and aligning with what you think that value is going to be. Is it education? Is there a promotion going on? Is there something funny that you want to share based on industry insights? If you're able to provide some sort of value that you want to align with as you start developing your content, then that's going to help set you up for success and create pieces that resonate with not just your staff, but also your end user. What has been the costliest mistake is a crazy question to ask me on camera. Not listening or educating my team earlier on in general. When you're creating content, it's a team sport. It's not just an individual. It's not a solo person making things happen. Ensuring that they're in line with what you're trying to do is equally as important as the output, because they don't know what they don't know. And so if you're asking them to create something for you, but they don't have the context or they don't understand how that fits into the brand ethos, then you're not giving them a lot to work with. And so when they don't deliver, it becomes something that creates more friction and in turn starts burning out your creatives. You don't have those conversations a month after the production ended or a month after the content got delivered. You need to align on these things ahead of time as opposed to waiting until after the fact. So for me, it's been a costly mistake in the sense that it would have allowed me to invest resources into better places sooner, but it's part of the learning experience. And that's why I'm sharing that with all of you today, because, got to learn somehow. The best piece of advice that I have for marketers is to be social, in person, online, everywhere, just like we are right now, because these conversations are the ones that going to lead into something that's more fruitful, whether it's brand partnerships with other brands, creator partnerships. You'll be getting insights into how people perceive your brand, whether it's industry friends or creators that you work with or production companies. And so having those conversations online and offline is extremely important. There's oftentimes a disconnect between brands because they lean so heavily into agency partners or other people to execute their vision. But when you're picking up the phone and responding to emails from people asking you how your week is going, that matters as much as what the output is, because if you create a system where the creators and people that you work with feel valued and seen, they're going to produce better work. Not every brand needs to be on social media. I think there's ways to make it work, but it's all about return on investment, right? So if you're a small brand and you know that maybe community marketing is your best avenue in terms of return on investment, then you could allocate your resources there to ensure that you're executing at a high level and getting things right. Because when you start stretching yourself thin, you end up doing too many things and doing them poorly. If your customers are on social media talking about your brand, have a presence there. If your customers are never going to share anything about your brand and you don't have a clear strategy, there's no need to rush into it, because that strategy should align with everything else that you're doing, whether it's your email, whether it's your advertising, or even just go-to-market strategies for products. Brands could stand out from all the other marketing noise by listening and learning, whether it's listening to a podcast from a different industry, because we all think we know everything about our industry. But when you start thinking about other verticals, you might pick something up that's applicable to your industry that you didn't think about. So podcasts are a great way. Key opinion leaders that you have respect for, send them a message, pick their mind on what they think is important or isn't important. And you'll start realizing that people are very open to having conversations that could help differentiate your brand from all the noise that is happening, because there's just so many messages that are coming out, right? I think like on average, a person is getting 4,000 plus brand messages in front of them every single day. So if you're going to market with messaging that has already been vetted by industry leaders and was informed by strategies that you learned from like a podcast or a different resource, Now you're setting up yourself for success as opposed to just throwing thoughts out of board and not having a sense of where your brand is going to be 5 to 10 years from now.